ABC News contributor Dr. John Brownstein joins us now. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Brownstein.
Thanks, Ariel.
This variant of the virus is stoking some alarm, with some countries temporarily blocking travel from the UK. But so far, experts are saying it's no more lethal or transmissible than the current strain. So what do we need to know?
Yeah, I mean, on such a day of such optimism with the vaccine, now we're dealing with this new variant. And there is some cause for concern. And I'll give some reasons why scientists are sort of concerned about this particular variant. One, this version is replacing rapidly other versions of the virus, and we've seen this rapid increase in cases in some regions of England. This variant has mutations, actually 17 mutations, which is a lot for variants that we've seen historically, and they're on the part of the virus, the spike protein that is used for entry into the cells. So these mutations potentially are creating increased transmissibility of the virus. But there's some important caveats. One, we see variants like this emerge all the time, and the data is very early, and so it could be biased with the fact that we saw increased mobility and travel, and so maybe we're just seeing artifacts of data, and there's really no evidence that this virus is more lethal. So that really should quell some concerns that this virus is going to cause a real problem. It still adds to the growing body of knowledge that we have of these viruses and the importance of basic public health measures like social distancing and mask wearing.
I think the question on everyone's mind, you mentioned the good news about the vaccine. So could this impact the efficacy of the vaccines that have now been deployed in any way?
So far, scientists don't believe so. We think that it takes years for these mutations to build up in a way that they would have an impact on the vaccine. Unlike monoclonal antibodies, vaccines make actually what we call polyclonal antibody response. And that means that there are multiple ways that the vaccine can protect you. So a few mutations of the virus will not impact the ability for the vaccine to prevent you from getting severe COVID disease. The bigger concern is around what we call antigenic drift. And this is the change in the virus over time. This is what the flu viruses undergo, which means that we need a new flu virus vaccine every year. And so what we're thinking more is the long-term needs of vaccines and how we may need to change this vaccine over time. But the concern immediately over the existing vaccines are just not there, and we should be proceeding as we have been, thinking that we're going to really have an impact on this virus with mass vaccinations over the coming months.
Should we be concerned at all that there are still flights coming in from the UK, or is the risk no greater than it was before?
Well, this is a tough one because, of course, the more people that are coming in that are potentially affected are adding to the numbers of cases growing here in this country. Now, this variant has been actually circulating for months, so likely it's already here in the U.S. So a travel ban probably wouldn't do very much at this point. What we should be doing really is testing, right? Testing before people get on planes, testing when people arrive, quarantining. Those are widespread policies that could be incredibly helpful right now, and we just haven't implemented them as a country. Those are things we could do immediately. New York is starting to do this. I think it's something as a country we need to be doing right now.
And of course, the busy holiday season is now upon us. So many Americans are making this difficult decision about when, how, if to see their families these holidays. What is your message to anyone thinking about traveling?
Right. So we're seeing this surge that happened post-Thanksgiving, and we're seeing the data, which is really tough to see, right? The numbers of deaths and hospitalizations at record highs. That was a surge on top of a surge. Now we add Christmas travel, which is more people traveling over a longer period of time. Are we going to see a surge on a surge on a surge? And our hospital systems just can't handle that capacity. We're already near overwhelmed in many parts of this country. So what can we do? Of course, if we can, stay within your household, don't travel, really try to limit your mobility and your interactions with others. There is that light at the end of the tunnel. So whatever we can do now will be so helpful to get through this pandemic.
Back now to the vaccine. So many are talking about this. President-elect Joe Biden received Pfizer's vaccine today, and tomorrow Dr. Fauci is slated to receive Moderna's vaccine. How important is it, in your opinion, for boosting public trust to see these officials getting their vaccines?
Yeah, I think it's so important. First of all, having a safe and healthy federal leadership is absolutely critical. So I think it's great that they're getting the vaccine. But on top of that, it's all about instilling public confidence. our research has shown that hesitancy is widespread. We have large parts of this population. They're just unwilling to get this vaccine, no matter how much good research has been done. So seeing these important public figures getting the vaccine really is all about boosting trust in science that we need now, because we need that herd immunity, 78% of the population getting immunized if we're going to have a real material impact on the course of the pandemic.
We saw our own Dr. Ashton get vaccinated today. Finally, if you were advising your patients on a vaccine and they had the choice between Pfizer or Moderna, is there one that's preferable in your eyes?
Right. So it's a great question. A lot of people asking me this question. I would say whichever one is available to you, you should take, because you're not going to necessarily have choice. I'll just say that the vaccines are incredibly similar, 94% effective, similar safety profiles. They use the same delivery of mRNA. So they're very similar across genders and race. I would say if you have access to a vaccine and it's your turn, you should grab it.